A very good morning, viewers. You're watching Republic TV. My name is Priyanka Das and welcome to today's segment of Quick Morning, where we delve into the latest news and updates from around the country and across the world to set the tone for your day. From tracking Bollywood star Saif Ali Khan's stabbing case to KT Rama Rao's challenge to CM Revanth Reddy. Stay tuned as Republic TV brings you the ground realities of these developments. But that's not all. We'll also be bringing you the latest updates from the realms of business, sports and entertainment in our jam-packed lineup for this morning. So let's kickstart today's Mega News Day here on Republic, as always with the nation first this quick morning. The intruder who starred Bollywood actor Saif Ali Khan at his home in Mumbai's Bandra on Thursday demanded a ransom of ₹1 crore, citing a statement by a member of Mr. Khan's domestic staff. The staffer, a nurse caring for Mr. Khan's 4-year-old son, said that the attacker first entered the boy's room. According to the Mumbai police, the intruder did not force his entry or break into the actor's flat, but possibly sneaked in at some point during the night with the intention of robbery. The attacker, who made his escape through the stairs, remains on the run. The Bharatiya Kisan Union on Thursday slammed the Punjab government for the arrest warrants issued against 25 farmers and assertion of an attempt to murder charge in the FIR in connection with the 2022 Prime Minister's security breach matter in the state. Leaders of the pharmacist body said they came to know about the insertion of Section 307, that's attempt to murder charge of the Indian Penal Code in the FIR, after the bail plea of one of the protesting farmers was rejected by a court in Firozpur. On January 5, 2022, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's convoy was stranded on a flyover due to a blockade by the protesters in Punjab's Firozpur, after which he returned from the state without attending any event, including a rally. A joint anti-terror operation has been launched by the Special Forces of the Indian Army, J&K Police and CRPF in Billwara area of Kathua district. The operation, which is currently underway in the Dhanu Parole area, was initiated after reports of terrorist presence in the upper reaches of Kathua district. The Indian Army, along with other security forces, is conducting a thorough search and combing operation to neutralize the terrorist threat. The operation is part of the ongoing efforts to maintain law and order in the region and public safety. Telangana Minister KTR challenged CM Revanth Reddy, asking him to come forward and prove the allegations against him. KTR claimed that Revanth Reddy has targeted him for personal reasons, that there is no evidence to prove his guilt. KTR expressed his willingness to give explanations and clarifications regarding the allegations and even offered to take a lie detector test in front of Revanth Reddy to prove his innocence. He urged the people of Telangana to decide what is the truth.
What level of malified intention the Chief Minister has, I have no problem. But I do have one offer to give to the Chief Minister of Telangana. आप जब भी तैयार हो, डेट आप तय करो, जगह आप तय करो, टाइम आप तय करो. दोनों बैठ जाते हैं, आप भी बैठ जाओ, मैं भी बैठ जाता हूं, क्योंकि आप पे भी एसीबी केस है, आप पे भी ईडी केस है, मुझ पे भी आपने लगा दिया. तो इसलिए मैं कहता हूं, मैं लाई डिटेक्टर टेस्ट के लिए तैयार हूं.
A fire broke out in the kitchen section of a repurposed railway coach restaurant located outside the Guwahati railway station on Thursday afternoon. Following the incident, the swift and prompt action of 2 personnel of the Indian Army, the fire was controlled. The timely intervention of 2 Army bravehearts prevented any major damage to the restaurant and life. As many as 13 people were injured after a boiler blast at a manufacturing unit of a bakery in the Hari Parvat Pushp Vihar of Agra on Thursday. All the injured have been rushed to the hospital and the condition of the several individuals reported to be critical.
मेडले बेकर्स की एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट है, जहां एक बॉयलर के फटने की वजह से आग लग गई. 13 कर्मी जो कार्य कर रहे थे वो सभी झुलस गए हैं. CFO और FSO ने तत्परता से रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन करते हुए घायलों को SN मेडिकल पहुंचाया है. उनमें से एक की हालत गंभीर है. मैनेजर जितेंद्र भी पुलिस के सहयोग में वहां लगा हुआ था और अग्रिम वैधानिक कार्रवाई करवाई जा रही है.
We are tracking the top business stories for the day. We bring you the latest updates on India's economic landscape. From the government approving the 8th Pay Commission to Infosys announcing the Q3 results. Stay tuned as we delve into the key highlights shaping the business world today. The outlook for India's economy in 2025 reflects a balance of caution and optimism. On the positive side, economists expect a pickup in the consumer spending, particularly rural areas driven by an expected recovery in agriculture. This could bolster sentiment and consumption, especially for the low-ticket and discretionary items. Additionally, food inflation, which has been a significant strain on household budgets, is expected to ease, providing much-needed relief to urban families. The government's focus on capital expenditure, particularly in the infrastructure sectors like roads, housing and logistics, is expected to act as a key growth driver for India's economy. The government has officially approved the formation of the 8th Pay Commission, a move eagerly awaited by thousands of central government employees and pensioners. Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw confirmed the development on Thursday, signalling the start of a long-anticipated process that will impact salaries and benefits for a significant portion of the workforce. Currently, the 7th Pay Commission is in operation, with a new commission typically being established every 10 years. As the deadline for the 7th Pay Commission approaches, there has been growing speculation and expectation among the government employees regarding the creation of its successor. Infosys Q3 results are announced, and this time the net profit has gone up by 11.4% to rupees 6,806 from rupees 6,106 in the same period last year. The operating margin for Q3 stood at 21.3%, marking a slight increase of 0.2% sequentially and 0.8% year-on-year. This margin improvement is seen as a positive indicator of Infosys' ability to manage operational efficiency and cost structures effectively. The company also posted the highest ever free cash flow of $1,263 million, a remarkable 90% increase compared to the previous year. Ahead of the Trump's inauguration as the President of the United States, FICCI conducted another survey to project India's economic future. Economists participating in the FICCI survey highlighted potential short-term disruptions as the US adjusts its trade policies, which could significantly impact the global supply chains. These disruptions could come via several channels such as exports, foreign capital flows and input costs, particularly for trading partners like India. The US may also experience an economic shift under Trump 2.0 with a possible reduction in the Federal Reserve policy rates. This could lead to less than expected capital inflows into emerging markets, including India, contributing to the fluctuations in the value of the rupee. Moreover, the survey noted that the trade tensions, particularly between the US and China, could further disrupt global supply chains, raising input costs for India's exports in the short term. India's Ministry of Finance is steadfast in its commitment to achieve a fiscal deficit of 4.5% of GDP by FY 2025-26. A target set in 2021 to address post-pandemic economic challenges. According to a report by BofA Securities, the government's fiscal consolidation efforts have been substantial, with the fiscal deficit gradually reducing from a high of 9.2% in FY 2021 to an expected 4.9% in FY 2025. The journey towards fiscal discipline has been marked by a careful balancing act between growth and austerity. Moving on to our international segment, where we are tracking the ground pulse of some of the biggest global headlines. Today, we delve into the significant developments from around the world, from Biden's farewell address to diplomatic talks between Russia and the Central African Republic. Stay tuned as we unravel the latest updates shaping the global landscape. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said on January 16th that the Israeli cabinet won't approve the agreement for a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip and the release of dozens of hostages until Hamas backs down, accusing the group of reneging on the parts of the agreement in an attempt to gain further concessions. Meanwhile, Israeli strikes across the Gaza Strip have killed at least 72 people since the ceasefire deal was announced. In previous conflicts, both sides have stepped up military operations in the final hours before ceasefire go into effect as a way to project strength. Under the deal expected to begin on January 19th, 33 hostages are set to be released over the next 6 weeks in exchange for hundreds of Palestinians imprisoned by Israel.
The Prime Minister's office has made clear that Hamas have reneged on this hostage release agreement and has created a last-minute crisis in an effort to extort last-minute concessions. As such, the Israeli cabinet cannot meet to agree this deal. It cannot convene until the mediators notify Israel that Hamas has accepted all elements of the agreement.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer arrived in Ukraine on January 16 to meet President Volodymyr Zelensky as the two nations begin another round of bilateral talks to strengthen their ties. Amid Russia's growing aggression on Ukraine, Starmer has extended UK's unflinching support to Ukraine as the leader pledged financial and military aid to the war-torn nation. The two leaders also signed a 100-year partnership treaty that will include areas related to defense, science, energy and trade. The United Kingdom is Ukraine's biggest military backer and is set to give $16 billion in military and civilian aid to the country in its fight against the Russian forces.
The route to a just and lasting peace comes through strength. We will work with allies to reject this aggression, uphold international law, and strengthen your hand now. In 2025, the UK will give more military support to Ukraine than ever before. We have already committed £3 billion for military aid this year.
President Joe Biden gave his concluding address from the Oval Office on January 16 as the leader prepares for a departure from the White House in just 3 days. The leader reflected upon his last 4 years as president and thanked his family and Vice President Kamala Harris for standing next to him during his tenure as the President of the United States. Biden also voiced concern for the next 4 years and warned Americans against limiting powers to the hands of the ultra-wealthy. Biden also reflected upon how his office term has paved the way for newer possibilities and given birth to a new era in American history.
Millions of Americans now have the dignity of work. Millions of entrepreneurs and companies creating new businesses and industries, hiring American workers, using American products. And together, we've launched a new era of American possibilities.
Russian President Vladimir Putin met with Central African Republic leader Touadéra in Moscow on January 16th to discuss the security cooperation. Central African Republic's president said considerable progress has been made in restoring peace and security in the region, but hoped to continue working with the Russian military to strengthen their security. The leader also urged Putin to continue providing military support and equipment for the country's defense forces. The European Union's new Commissioner for Migration and Internal Affairs, Magnus Brunner, was in Athens on January 16 for policy talks with Greece. Brunner's visit to Athens comes days after a landmark ruling by the European Court of Human Rights found that Greece illegally deported a woman back to neighboring Turkey and described pushbacks as being systematic. Greece, which is among the several European Union members seeking tougher immigration controls, has taken a hard line on migration, with the government insisting it implements a strict but fair policy that cracks down on illegal migration and smuggling networks. Greece registered more than 60,000 illegal arrivals of migrants last year, an increase of nearly 50% from 2023. It seeks direct funding for the European Union to pay for the planned expansion of a border wall along the land frontier with Turkey.
To discuss, as you know, Greece is a country that has found itself on the forefront of the migration crisis for many, many years. We're happy with the progress that has been made at the European level in terms of a rebalancing of our overall European migration policy towards the protection of the external borders.
Spain's embassy in Damascus raised its flag for the first time in 14 years on January 16th. At an inauguration ceremony led by Spanish Foreign Minister Jose Manuel Alvarez, Alvarez is one of the many European dignitaries who have visited Syria since the fall of Bashar Assad's government last month. The US, the European Union and some Arab nations began imposing sanctions on Syria after Assad's brutal crackdown on the 2011 uprising against his rule and tightened them as the conflict spiraled into war, as several nations closed their embassy doors in Syria. During his visit, Alvarez met with Syria's de facto leader Ahmed al-Shara, the militant commander whose stunning insurgency toppled Assad, as the two countries are expected to start a fresh chapter and build stronger relations in the upcoming months. As the Spring Festival approaches, the festival atmosphere pervades every corner of China. Even attracting many overseas tourists, recently goods for the Spring Festival displayed along a 300-meter-long stretch of the street in Heilongjiang Province, China, attracted a large number of citizens and tourists. There are over 100 booths on the street covering specialties of Northeast China, daily necessities and more. The decorations of the Spring Festival couplets attracts hundreds of tourists, especially from Russia, to visit and experience the strong charm of the New Year customs. In Ningxia Autonomous Region, which is also filled with a festive atmosphere, tourists from countries like Canada and Iraq flood town. The tourists also dress in Hanfu, the traditional dress, watched performances and experienced the rich Chinese Spring Festival culture. All right, viewers, it's time to dive into the world of sports with our segment dedicated to all the action-packed highlights and exciting matchups. Today, we bring you the updates from the Cricket Test Series. The BCCI has arranged 3 4-day matches for India's Test hopefuls ahead of the much-awaited 5-Test Series in England. Keep listening to all the buzz right here on our sports segment. Stung by the massive defeats against New Zealand and Australia, the BCCI has decided to organise 3 4-day matches in the UK ahead of the test matches against England to give the players an opportunity to get a feel of the red ball cricket. The dates and venues of the matches against England Lions are yet to be fixed, but they will take place in the UK after the IPL final on May 25th. As the tour begins with the first test at Leeds on June 20th, the board feels the preparatory series is essential to India's chances against England after the team went down 0-3 against the Kiwis at home and 1-3 to the Aussies away. After Republic exposed how Pakistan stadiums are in shambles, the PCB blocks access to media. The Pakistan Cricket Board restricted the entry and movement of the mainstream and digital media at its stadiums in Karachi and Lahore, which are under construction ahead of the ICC Champions Trophy. The PCB is in a scramble to complete the renovation work of the stadiums ahead of next month's Champions Trophy. The media will now only be allowed to visit stadiums on a fixed day during the week when they can tour the venue and make videos in the presence of PCB media representatives. Two-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu progressed to the quarterfinals while Kiran George delivered a gritty performance under pressure to keep the home flag flying in men's singles at the India Open Badminton Tournament. Title contenders Satvik Sairaj, Ranki Reddy and Chirag Shetty, who had won the 2022 edition, recovered from an opening game reversal to beat Japan's Kenya Mitsuhashi and Hiroki Okamura. 2022, 21-14, 21-16 to inch closer to the crown. Young opener Saif Ali Khan will remain in London for his rehabilitation process this month under the supervision of 2 noted sports injury specialists as the Pakistan Cricket Board remains hopeful of his recovery from an ankle injury in time for next month's Champions Trophy. Ayub, who suffered an ankle fracture while fielding during the second test against South Africa earlier this month, was sent to London directly from Cape Town to get a second opinion on his recovery process after he was initially advised 6 weeks of rest. Nick Kyrgios's return to the Australian Open is over after he and Thanasi Kokkinakis stopped playing while trailing in the second set of their first-round doubles. Kyrgios and Kokkinakis, the men's doubles champions at Melbourne Park in 2022, retired while down 7-5, 3-2 against another Australian team, James Duckworth and Alexander Vukic. Both Kyrgios and Kokkinakis came into the match dealing with physical issues after losses in singles. Pakistan hopes its tried and tested spin template will be successful against the West Indies as the two bottom place teams in the World Test Championship gear up for the two-test series. The same pitch has been prepared for the first test in Multan, on which the Pakistan spinner Sajid Khan and Oman Ali neutralized England's aggressive buzz ball in October when the groundskeepers successfully dried out the 22-yard strip with the help of giant industrial-sized fans and patio heaters. The Board of Control for Cricket in India officials are planning to add a new member to the coaching staff who could possibly help the batting unit. Former England international Kevin Pietersen has expressed keen interest in the new role and revealed to be available to take up the position. The performance of the Indian team in the recently concluded Australia series raised concerns about the officials weren't happy when the performance of the senior batters, particularly Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. India struggled heavily with the bat, losing the 5-match series 3-1. The Indian men's cricket team is set to add former first-class cricketer Sitanshu Kota to his coaching staff ahead of the upcoming England series. Kota is reportedly set to join the Indian camp as a new batting coach as the BCCI hosts England in the White Ball series starting on January 22nd. After India's 3-1 Test series loss against Australia, the reports of the management looking to add a new member to their coaching staff emerged. India boasts 4 senior staff members, including 2 assistant coaches, Abhishek Nair and Rantan Dishkata, but were without proper batting coach since the former head coach Rahul Dravid's departure. Royal Challengers Bengaluru's key spinner Sophie Molyneux has been ruled out of the tournament due to a knee injury. The franchise confirmed the development. The left-arm spinner was a part of Australia's recent series win over India at home and picked up an injury after the series. She's unlikely to recover in time for the season. She was an integral part of the RCB's title triumph last year, accounting for 12 wickets in 10 matches at an economy rate of 7.31, including a 3-wicket over in the final against the Delhi Capitals. The defending champions will miss Molyneux's experience this season. Fresh from their massive 175-for-18 demolition of South Korea, the Indian women's team secured a quarter-final berth in the Coco World Cup with another commanding 116 win against Iran. India, demonstrating that tournament favourites' status, won easily to cement their position atop their group at the Indira Gandhi Indoor Stadium. India started aggressively, eliminating Iran's first batch within 33 seconds. Tracking the buzz, it's time to delve into the world of entertainment. Comedian Conan O'Brien to receive the Mark Twain Prize to British boy band Coldplay to kick off their India tour with a concert tomorrow. This and more as we unravel all the latest updates from the entertainment industry this morning. Following actress Blake Lively's accusations against her, it ends with as co-star Justin Baldoni. Baldoni has now retaliated against Lively's harsh allegations. The director sued Lively and her husband, actor Ryan Reynolds, for defamation. Baldoni seeks at least $400 million for damages that include lost future income. The lawsuit was filed in a New York federal court on January 16 and is the latest step in the legal fallout from the dark romantic drama. Baldoni has also sued the New York Times for libel, alleging the paper worked with Lively to smear him. Comedian Conan O'Brien is the newest recipient of the Mark Twain Prize for Lifetime Achievement in Comedy. The 61-year-old has carved out an improbable decades-long career arc from goofy television interloper to comedic elder statesman. O'Brien will be honored March 23rd in a special ceremony in Washington, at which he will receive a bronze bust of Twain. Running for just one weekend on January 18th and 19th, the Maria Callas Tour will allow the general public to access areas of the world-famous theatre where Callas performed. as well as providing a glimpse at some of the costumes worn by Angelina Jolie in the new Netflix movie. The tour incorporates 3 different locations at the iconic London venue, including a dressing room, one of the main prop workshops in the building, and also the Royal Box with a view of the last stage that Callis ever performed on July 5th, 1965.
Maria Tour is to celebrate Maria's life and particularly to focus on her connection with the Royal Opera House, which is actually huge. She had an incredible love affair here, and that was with the London fans. They adored her. They would queue for days to sit in the gods and listen to La Divina. So the Opera House is really, and was really, a home away from home for Maria.
The British band Coldplay has arrived in India ahead of their show in Mumbai's D.Y. Patil Stadium on January 18th, 19th and 21st. As part of their Music of the Spheres World Tour, the band is set to take over India in the upcoming weeks as they have several shows lined up across the country. This is the second time that Coldplay will be performing in India. They last visited the country in 2016 when they performed in Mumbai as part of the Global Citizen Festival. For the undress, the band consists of vocalist and pianist Chris Martin, guitarist Johnny Buckland, bassist Guy Berryman, drummer and percussionist Will Champion. Kangana Ranaut's controversial film titled Emergency has hit the silver screens. Following trouble with the Centre Board for Film Certification, the film has finally been released all across the country. The political drama portrays the 21-month emergency imposed in 1975 by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis was spotted on January 16th at a special screening of Kangana's film. The duo was seen exchanging warm greetings. Meanwhile, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari also attended a screening of the film in Nagpur. Kangana took to Instagram and shared a couple of pictures from the screening. Amitabh Bachchan has hinted at attending the Mahakumbh in a recent post on social media platform X. The auspicious festival of Mahakumbh began in Prayagraj on January 13th, Monday, and will conclude on February 26th. Several thousand devotees, including prominent figures, have gathered in the Uttar Pradesh city to take a holy dip in Sangam for the event that occurs every 144 years. While Prayagraj also happens to be the superstar's hometown, concerns over his desire to take a dip at the holy festival have taken the internet by storm. Fans expressed concerns over Bachchan's decision, citing his age and health. Earlier, veteran folk singer Malini Avasthi took a holy dip in the Sangam and expressed her happiness over attending the festival. And that's a wrap for today's segment of Quick Morning. Don't go anywhere, viewers. We'll be right back tracking the top headlines and biggest global stories from across the world only on Republic TV.